Hello everyone. For a program to be more useful, it needs to communicate well with the user. That is, it expects certain inputs from the user. It applies some logic depending on the input that it receives, it generates an output. So once it generates an output, it also needs to be presented back to the user in a more meaningful format. So this exchange has to be in place for a program to be more meaningful. It needs to accept inputs and it also needs to present the output or response back to the user in a more meaningful format so that the user can perceive that information. Okay. So this is a whole exercise that we are going to conduct. But what could be the different forms in which you can accept an input? It could be in the form of files, it could be in the form of tables of some databases, or it could also be some impromptu inputs that the user keys in. We'll understand more on how you read the data from files or how you read the data from specific tables and all much later. But for now, let's understand how do we accept input from the user and then probably use that input and store that input values in variables and use those variables in order to do additional processing, then return that output that's generated back to the user so that the user can perceive that information. Okay. So to begin with, I'm going to make use of this function called input, which I'm going to make use of in order to get the values from the user. So I'm asking the user to enter item price. I'm considering an example of retail store example here. So wherein let's say that a particular customer walks into the retail store and he purchases certain items of specific quantities. He puts all of them to the cart and then he brings that particular cart to the cashier. So the cashier or operator actually needs to understand what items were in the cart and what are the quantities associated and what are the prices that are associated with every single item there. And then he needs to compute the total amount that the customer needs to pay. So instead of manually calculating the total amount that the customer needs to pay to the store, let's write a simple program which does the job for us. Okay. So enter the item price. Here, as if when I execute this particular statement, it asks me for what is the item price. So I'm just providing the item price here in this box that has popped up. I press enter key and whatever value that I'm perceiving now, it's a string value, isn't it? Since it's enclosed in single quotations, so it's not an integer value or it's not a floating point value as we are observing here. All the data that we have received by using this input function will always be stored in string, will always be stored in string format. Even if you are going to check the type of this particular data, so whatever, probably I'm storing this in a variable called item price. And then I'm also displaying what the item price is. Once I enter the item price here, I'm probably entering the item price as 100 and whatever value that we have now stored gets stored in item price here. You can go and evaluate what is the type of this item price variable. Now you understand that this is of string type. So we do not want this, isn't it? So we want to store the item price as a floating point number. And hence what can I do? I can simply go about performing typecasting, that is convert the data type here from string to float by using this. So now as in when I enter the value for item price, it gets stored as a floating point number and it's no longer string type. You can always go about checking what's the type of item price now after making the change. So similarly, I also would need to collect this information of item quantity. So what are the total number of items or what are the total number of, what is the quantity that the customer has purchased for every item? So let me key in quantity here. And I need not convert item quantity to float. I would convert this to integer because that does not make any sense, isn't it? Let's say that the customer has placed a book in the cart, which costed around $200. And obviously he has purchased two of them. He cannot purchase 2.5 or 2.6 of them, right? Because this is a discrete quantity. So it has to be integer and cannot be a floating point number. And hence, while doing typecasting, instead of converting this to float, I'm converting this to integer. So now item quantity, when you investigate, it will no longer be a string data type, but it would rather be an integer data type. Okay. So I'm providing the item quantity here as 2 and then hit enter. And now whatever value that gets stored here and whatever type that I'm trying to investigate for item quantity turns out to be an integer. And the value stored is 2 here. I make use of these variables item price and item quantity in order to calculate what could be the total amount that the customer ends up paying. So total amount here simply could be total item price multiplied by total item quantity here. considering that the customer has purchased only one specific item, but multiple of them. Like he has more than one quantity associated with that item that he placed in the cart. Now the total amount turns out to be 400, but we have not had any additional logic to it. Let's say that we would want to compute the tax associated with the item here. Let's say that whatever item price that we had, we are just trying to factor in 18% tax, and then look at the tax here. So this is a tax computed per item. Okay. And now for whatever tax that we have computed, we need to factor in this into total amount that we are calculating here. So I'm just doing a simple change to this particular formula here, that I'm additionally adding the tax component, which is 18% of the total item price that we have, to the existing item price, so that that gets multiplied with item quantity to result in the total amount that the customer needs to pay to the store. So this is how you need to compute the total amount depending on the inputs that the customer receives, or depending on the inputs that the customer provides to the user there. The user here is nothing but the back office guy, or the operator, the store operator, who is keying in this particular data on behalf of customer. The customer ends up paying this total amount as a bill amount to the store. Okay. So once we have received the input and once we have processed the input, we have created an output here, which is the total amount. And we need to present this information back to the user in a more meaningful format. So I'm going to make use of this built-in function called print. So print is a built-in function that Python would offer us. Again, I'm just going to print this as total amount is, comma, total underscore amount. So this is the output that we can generate back to the user, asking the user to pay $472 for the items that he has purchased in the store. So instead of writing a simple print statement like this, you also can write an interpolated f string wherein you are including this variable within this quote here and providing that variable name within this curly braces again. So whatever we are providing within this particular curly braces gets evaluated. So we know that a value of 472 is stored in this particular variable name called total amount, and this gets evaluated first and then it prints out, specifically when you are providing this within interpolated f string. So this is an f string. I am providing an f before this quotations here in order to differentiate this particular statement, which actually signifies that we have written an interpolated f string in comparison with what we have written in this plain print statement here in the above statement. Okay. So instead of providing the variable name, you also can provide the total computation that you are doing here. So the whole expression can be replaced. We can replace this particular variable name with the whole expression. So whatever is provided in the curly braces, it doesn't matter. It tries to evaluate or calculate or compute the value depending on what variables or what formula that you have incorporated within this curly braces. And then it calculates the resultant value is now printed back in the format that we have asked for, right? So this is the difference between printing the data or printing the result in the form of an f string, or printing the result back which is not in the form of f string here. So instead of using these two approaches, you can also go about writing a more comprehensive result, like probably the total amount that customer needs to pay is, let's evaluate this within this particular curly braces, but I have not provided any f string here yet. Okay. And total or item price probably, right? And item price is item price, and item quantity is going to be item quantity. And now I'm closing off this parenthesis here. Before closing off this parenthesis, I'm just writing dot format, right? Within this format, I'm just trying to provide all of this data. Like I'm just trying to index all of these curly braces, like with 0, with 1, and with 2. Now I'm going to map total amount to index 0 and item price to index 1 and item quantity to index 2. Whatever variables that I have provided here within format has to be in sequence. So total amount now gets assigned to this index 0 position, Item price now gets assigned to index 1 position, and item quantity now gets assigned to this index 2 position. And once you run this particular statement here, this is going to generate the whole string that we have written. The total amount that the customer needs to pay is $472, and the item price is 200, and item quantity is 2. If at all you are changing this particular sequence that we have provided here within format, this alters the complete meaning of the result that we are generating. So the total amount that the customer needs to pay is 200, which was item price. And the total item price is 472, which is completely meaningless, isn't it? So we'll always need to be very careful in choosing the sequence in which we are trying to provide and the order in which we have tried to index this whole string here. So this is more important while we are using this particular format, specifically when you are trying to print the result back to the user. These are multiple ways in which you can present the information back to the user. So instead of providing indexes, you can also exclude these indexes and still run this statement. It will work just fine. There should not be any issue at all. Okay. So this is all pretty much what I wanted to discuss with you. That is how we generally accept the inputs from the user, how we process that inputs, and then further, once the output is generated, how do you present that output back to the user? All of these means are very important in most of the exercises that we are going to conduct in future lessons. Okay, that's all in this particular session, and thanks for watching.